What is up, everybody? This is Nate here. So we got some big news this morning, or like a couple minutes ago, actually. Marvel has officially released the casting call for the Inhumans quote unquote TV show project. I said quote unquote because it's going to be an 8 episode series. Like they're going to see how it does, and then they'd obviously extend it more for possibly this season or just another season. But the first two of the 8 episodes are going to be in IMAX theaters on Labor Day of this year. So we're to get a little bit of movie treatment for the first two episodes. So it'll be like 2 hours, I would imagine. So it would basically be the movie that was scheduled for 2019, 2020. But yeah, so it's officially going to be the royal family. Not really officially, but the casting call is really pretty much say it away. So here's the casting call for Black Bolt, or yeah, this is the casting call for Black Bolt. So it says he's 30 to 40 years old. He's Caucasian. And the description for him really highlights Black Bolt because, as you comic book readers know, Black Bolt doesn't he can't speak, and if he opens his mouth and says any or try or if he opens his mouth to try to say anything, it projects volumes that can like take down buildings and anything like that. So he is the badass of the royal family. He's the king of the Inhumans. And the second casting, and that's him. The second one is for this girl named Marjorie, who I would imagine is probably his wife Crystal. His wife Medusa. And the casting call really does emulate her. Like her powers is that she can physically grow or shrink her hair length, so she can like wrap it around bad guys, throw them at walls or stuff like that. So she's badass in her own right. That's her. The next one is for this guy named Marty, and he's Broderick's younger brother. So Black Bolt's younger brother in the comics, Black Bolt's younger brother was Maximus or Maximus the Mad. He was a villain, and this really does emulate him. How it says he's charming and articulate, comes across as a man of the people, but secretly covets power. That's very like Maximus. Maximus is kind of similar to Kilgrave, the Purple Man, on Jessica Jones, where he's kind of like a cross of Loki and Kilgrave. How he has a hunger for power. He's power hungry like Loki and Kilgrave, and like Kilgrave too, he can manipulate people to do things. That's him. Those are his robots that he made because he's very intelligent too. The next one is for this guy named Kevin, who I think is Karnak, and this casting call for him sounds a lot like him. Karnak can physically manipulate his body functions, so like his bleeding, healing, anything like that. He's very smart too. He's very intelligent. His power is really his brain because he's so smart. That's him. The next one's for this guy named Grady, who I think is Gorgon, and this very very similar to Gorgon. Gorgon is a he has a hot temper, and his power is not really the coolest, but it's cool and it's good, but it's not really the best power of the royal family. He can powers like his legs, so he can stomp really hard, or like he can stomp and like it can like topple a building or something. So with you a hot temper and that's your power, it's more like your weakness. That's him. The next one is for Christine, and Christine, I believe, is Crystal. Crystal is kind of like Aang, Avatar: The Last Airbender. How she can, like, manipulate the powers of earth, fire, and water. So it'll be really cool to see her power on the big screen, and then on the small screen on TV. That's her. The next one's for a guy named Timothy, who I believe is Triton. And if you follow my Superhero Dynasty website and Facebook page, I explained that in last night's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., spoiler alert, the guy that is that Indian woman who's in the works for the government. How her brother was an Inhuman. How in the end, spoiler alert again, she kills him and throws him out of a plane into the ocean, and it ends with when he hits the floor of the ocean, the Inhuman cocoon crystallizes over him again. So I would have to think that his power is somewhat water related. And the only Inhuman that I can think that has aquatic like powers is Triton. And it says here that his ethnicity is open, and the guy that I think is him is the one on Agents of Shield. He's Indian. SFXMU means special effects required, and those of you that read the comics know that he's very scaly, has fins, all that kind of stuff. Very athletic too. That's him. And yeah, those are the casting calls. So it looks like that we're definitely going to be getting the royal family. And those of you that know the royal family didn't see one for Lockjaw. That's because they're not going to cast a dog. I would imagine that they'd probably CGI him in there. Yeah, it'd be very very cool to see this in the movies and then back on TV. And I'll explain what I said in my Superhero Dynasty website page this morning on a post, that the back in July during San Diego Comic-Con, the executive producer of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. said that they might be able to do the royal family this season. And over the weekend, he said that the season is really split up into 3 parts. The first third is what we saw, involving Ghost Rider. This current part is involving LMD's Life Final Decoys and Ada. And then there's going to be a third part, which will be revealed as the season goes along. My guess, maybe it could involve the royal family because the Inhumans IMAX release and TV show is going to start filming later this March. So if they've already been filming episodes beyond this for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., maybe this casting call was released to us now, but it's been known who's playing them for a while, and they've been filming already. But if they haven't done that, then the royal family probably will not be on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., besides maybe like the season finale or something like that. But yeah, sound off in the comments what you think about this casting call. If you think that it's actually going to be the royal family, what do you think of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Because they could definitely show the royal family. And who do you want to play who do you want to play the characters of the royal family? I haven't really put much thought to it, but if I were to just think of some right now, let me start with Black Bolt. Many people want to see Vin Diesel as Black Bolt. I highly doubt that, even though he would fit it well because he can't act for his life, so him not talking would be perfect. But I don't want to see him. I would like to see Matt Lanter maybe play him. I could see him fitting the role pretty well. For Medusa, maybe Ashley Benson. Maybe she's in Pretty Little Liars. For Maximus, I don't know. Yeah, I can't really think of one for him. I'm lost. It's the first time I've lost on a casting call or on a casting. For Karnak, ooh, gotta be a guy that can play a smart person. Got no idea. I'm lost again. For Gorgon, anyone with a hot temper and that's pretty muscular, pretty big a little bit, but like muscular big. Yeah. Crystal. Ooh. I forgot her name, but the girl that was in season 1 of Scream Queens. the one whose dad was the Red Devil, or whatever it was called. Her, maybe. Triton, as you know, I think it's the guy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So yeah, I'll do some more thought to my castings later today, but the descriptions I gave should be who they cast. And for these characters too, I don't think that they should race bend. I've explained it before. I'm not against race bending or gender bending. I just think that if when it's for characters that are widely liked, like the royal family, they're really the only Inhumans that the vast majority of comic book fans enjoy. They should not race bend or gender bend them. But if they were to like race bend Black Bolt, I I I would be upset. But if it's an actor like, I don't know, forgot his name, but the guy that was on Walking Dead, he was black. He was also on a bunch of Disney TV shows. He was friends with Beth in the hospital. That guy, if they were to cast him, I wouldn't be angry because he's a good actor. But if they were to just cast some actor I've never heard of, I'd be angry. That's what I think of race bend and gender bends. So there we have it. So yeah, thanks for watching the video.